me, a bigcal. Hi, I'm bigcal, and welcome to my world. Today is going to be another tier list where I take a look at the Mario games. Well, to be specific, Super Mario games, and just the main series 2D and 3D platformers, so none of the spin-offs like Mario Kart and Mario Party and Mario Tennis and Mario Golf and Mario Basketball and Mario Football and Mario Ice Hockey and Mario Boxing and Mario Wrestling and Mario jumping around with one of those little sticks with a ribbon on it. Okay, some of those might not exist, but you get the point. And I'm also not going to be doing things like Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island because it's a Yoshi game, or Super Mario Land 3 because it's a Wario game. So just sticking to the main ones. So let's get started with the original Super Mario Brothers, and it is S tier. The original, the classic, the game that defined what a 2D platformer at that time should be. It is one of my all-time favourite games. Absolutely have fantastic memories of playing that. Me, my brother and my granddad. My granddad was fantastic at playing Mario. He was way better than me and my brother were at the time. We were only kids, but still, he was a master at it. He knew all the secrets, all the hidden areas that he could go to, or where the extra lives were, everything. So yeah, I just adore that game. Huge impact on gaming in general, and just a personal favourite of mine. Next is Super Mario 2, or Super Mario 2 USA, depending on where you are. Obviously, everyone knows this was Doki Doki Panic on the on the Famicom, and it was changed to Mario 2 because the original Mario 2 in Japan was too difficult. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's an interesting game, very unique in the Mario series. Honestly, I've never really been that big a fan of it. Even back in the day, I just didn't like it as much because it was different. Yeah, some people obviously still really like it because after the first Mario game, there was no definite style of what Mario 2 should have been. It changed up in a lot of ways. It's like, hey, whatever, maybe that's what Mario's going to be like now. Just to me, even back then, I just never really liked it as much. It's one of those games that I would really like to go back and play through and finish for the first time ever, and just see if I enjoy it more now. But currently, it just doesn't do as much for me as the original Mario game. Super Mario Bros. 3. A ranking. I know, oh my god, you didn't give it an S ranking. Super Mario Bros. 3 is the greatest Mario game of all time. Yeah, I've never liked it quite as much as other people. In fact, only around a year ago, I probably wouldn't have even given this an A ranking. It probably would have been B or maybe even C. I don't know, it just never impacted me quite as much as some of the other Mario games. I just always found it to be really overrated. Over the last year or so, I have played more of it, and yes, I am coming around to it a lot more. It is a fantastic game, I cannot deny that. It's just for me personally, I never liked it as much as some of the other games. But yeah, it's a great game. Absolutely would highly recommend it to everyone, but only an A ranking from me. Now we have Super Mario Bros. 2, or Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, as we know it as. We got it released on the Super Nintendo as part of the All-Stars collection, but it was originally on the Famicom in Japan. And it basically it's basically almost a DLC level pack sort of for Super Mario Bros., but more difficult. And I like it a lot, but the fact it doesn't do too much differently from the original Mario Bros. But its difficulty, I guess, is where it stands out more. And one of my proudest game achievements is completing the game. Actually, 100%. I did all the normal 8 worlds, and then there was World 9, and then there was Worlds A, B, C, and D. And I believe A, B, C, and D were sort of remixes of levels that you'd already played through, but with added difficulty, like with the wind, which was really insane. boy, what a difficult game, but satisfying to complete. But yeah, it didn't add too much to the original Mario Bros. Beyond the difficulty, really. Super Mario World is the biggest and easiest S-ranking game I can think of, really. It is tremendous. Up there as the greatest game of all time, in my opinion. I adore Super Mario World. It is just one of the most perfect games of all time for me. The platforming is perfect. The controls are perfect. I love all the levels. I like all the hidden secrets that you can find and do. The introduction of Yoshi and how he works. It's just wonderful. I can't praise the game enough. It is probably the greatest game of all time, in my opinion. It really is. Next we have handheld Super Mario Land, not created by Shigeru Miyamoto. So it does have a very different feel, and honestly, I don't really like it that much. The controls are very floaty and iffy. It kind of looks garbage as well, even for Game Boy standards. The music's fun, but it's incredibly short, obviously being on a handheld, and it doesn't really feel like a Mario game. Its sequel, though, Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, absolutely a personal favourite of mine, and that gets a fantastic A ranking. The graphics are so improved from the original, it might as well have been on a new system. It was like Super Mario Bros. On the NES, the first one, and then the sequel was like Super Mario World on the SNES. That's the kind of difference we're talking here in graphics. Gameplay wise was so improved. It doesn't feel anywhere near as floaty. You have an overworld similar, to Super Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3, closer to Super Mario World. It looks so nice and detailed. You can choose the order in which you want to play them all in. Some great music in this one as well. Fun bosses, even though they are kind of easy. The final stage with Wario, the introduction of Wario, of course, is a very difficult level and very fun to play through and satisfying to beat. Yeah, it is an incredible game. I had that back in the day on the original Game Boy. I didn't have the first one back in the day. I did have the sequel, played the hell out of it, and it's a wonderful game. Next, we have the big game changer. Super Mario 64 and the N64. Mario in 3D. This defined, like the original Mario Bros. Defined 2D platformers, Super Mario 64 defined 3D platformers. And it was mind-blowing back in the day playing this on the N64 when it came out. And it's still very playable today. The graphics, they don't hold up as well. The gameplay, not quite as refined as what it is now, obviously after almost 20 years of them refining it, but it still holds up better than I ever expect it to. Every time I always have it's just like what do you call it, I can't think of the word, but every so often I just want to play it, so I'll either dig out my N64 and the copy of Super Mario 64, or I'll play the DS remake, which by the way I haven't included on this list because it is just the same game for the most part. But yeah. So Super Mario 64, it always holds up better than I expect, but it's still a step below some of the newer ones. In my opinion, they just kept improving on the formula. But Super Mario 64, super fun game, holds a special place in my heart for playing it back in the day and it being mind blowing, and it's still a great game today. Then we have Super Mario Sunshine. For a long time, this was kind of the black sheep of the Mario 3D titles because of FLUDD and the way that he used it and cleaning up, graffiti in a sense, and goop. And people just thought that was really weird, but I love it. And it gets an S ranking for me. Yes, I prefer it to Mario 64. The controls are again far more refined. The graphics are incredible. I love the beach and sea the water visuals and aspect of it. I love that kind of theme. It still looks stunning, even today on a GameCube, playing it on a modern TV, and it's like sometimes older games, modern TVs, they kind of look crap. Mario Sunshine to me still holds up really well in the visual department. Gameplay wise, it's still fantastic. There's a lot to love about it. Yes, there are some really frustrating sections in that game, like what is it? One of those machines where you put the coin down and it bounces off all the little things that stick out, and that can be a pain in the arse trying to collect the red coins in that, and the camera's really wonky getting to it. But for the most part, it's a fantastic game. I love the idea of FLUDD. I wish they would bring that back. And I really love those levels where it's your pure platforming, where your FLUDD's taken away from you, and those are really cool levels as well. So Sunshine, fantastic game. On the Wii now, Super Mario Galaxy, and that's another S ranking. That's up there again as one of the greatest games of all time. Looks stunning. The fact that the Wii wasn't HD meant nothing when it came to Super Mario Galaxy. It looks just as good as any HD title from the PS3 and Xbox 360 at that time. Nintendo did a wonderful job with it. So graphically, it looks stunning despite not being in HD. The soundtrack is gorgeous. It is one of the best video game soundtracks of all time as far as I'm concerned. The gameplay, almost perfect. The gravity is a wonderful addition, but that is where sometimes it can get a bit iffy with the camera and the just the gameplay, because if you're running underneath something, it can get a bit confusing, and the controls will change, the camera angle will switch, and you'll end up running the wrong way by accident. But for the most part, it's just glorious. And then we have the sequel, Super Mario Galaxy 2, which does a lot more of the same, so it is still fantastic. You got the addition of Yoshi now, you got some more power-ups, and it's more of the same, but in a lot of ways slightly improved as well. I probably prefer Galaxy 2 over Galaxy 1. Despite the fact that it doesn't have the nice hub world, it's more of just a map like Super Mario Bros. 3. That just speeds up getting to levels and streamlines it all, so you're just getting into these incredible levels, and it's a wonderful game. So we now go to the new Super Mario Bros. Series, where they brought back 2D gaming and 2D Mario. And we hadn't had a 2D Mario. I think the last brand new 2D Mario release was Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, on the Game Boy. And then of course we had re-releases. They brought out 1, 2, 3 and Super Mario World on the Game Boy Advance, but re-releases. So this was the first new one, the new Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo DS, and this was wonderful when it came out. Had a ton of fun with it. It was just great to go back to that 2D style of gameplay after so long, while still having the 3D games on the GameCube and then the Wii. So this was nice to go back to what it was, but improved visuals, new levels, a couple of new power-ups, and it was just tremendously fun. And then of course it was successful, so they kept on going, and we got one for the Wii, new Super Mario Bros. Wii. This introduced multiplayer. And multiplayer can be really hectic. Level design is okay, but it's definitely a step below the DS version, because it was just more of the same, but now we've got multiplayer, and yeah, it just didn't have the same appeal. It's already been done, now we're doing it again. And then the 3DS, we have Super Mario Bros. 2. Again, just very much more the same, only now for some reason you're collecting coins even more than usual, even though there's absolutely no storyline reason to it. And it's a fun game because it's 2D Mario with some really great levels, but it doesn't innovate in any way, and the coin collecting is just kind of pointless. If you collect so many coins, all you get is a new title screen, so there's no incentive to do it. You just want to play through the levels, which are still fun, but it's just like, just the first one on the DS just felt so much newer and fresher, and now we're all getting tired of it. Which brings us to Super Mario Bros. U plus Super Luigi Bros. U. So I'm including them both together, the one and the DLC, because that's what I have, the package of them. And it's probably, it's up there with the Wii version. That it's starting to get really stale now in a lot of ways, like Super Mario Bros. 2. But the addition of those Luigi levels, the DLC, where it just improves the difficulty and gives you more of a challenge and makes you want to play through that even more. That puts it ahead of Super Mario Bros. 2. So again, it's kind of like the lost levels also in the B tier. The beer tier. Beer. It doesn't really innovate, but that extra challenge there adds a lot of fun to it. So it's not as good as some of the others, but the extra challenge is a really fun aspect of it. Then we have the first 3D Mario game, the first new 3D Mario game on a handheld. Obviously we had Super Mario 64 DS. It was just a re-release with some added bits with characters, but for the most part the same game. Super Mario 3D Land was a whole new experience, and what they tried to do with this is take Super Mario, basically Super Mario World, but make it 3D. And it was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and gotta put it in the A tier. Thought it was fantastic, especially to have this kind of game on a handheld. It's one of the few that actually uses the 3D effect on the 3DS quite well. There's a lot of fun level designs, lots of old costumes and suits come back, and really good. And then of course they released 3D World on the Wii U, and I honestly think it's glorious. Yes, it's different to Galaxy and Sunshine and Mario 64, and again it takes the 2D Super Mario World and makes it more 3D, where the goal of each level is simply to get to the end and jump on the flagpole. But the level design again is insane. The Cat Mario suit is really cool and adds a lot of fun to the gameplay. Some of the levels are just absolutely wonderful. The boss fights with Bowser are different to what they've ever been, and that just adds a lot more fun to the game, and you're not just jumping on Bowser's head 3 times, or swinging him about. It's just really, really good. The soundtrack is really fun as well. Lots of extra levels you can get. I had an absolute blast playing that on the Wii U. And lastly, Super Mario Odyssey. If any game is right up there with Super Mario World for me as the greatest game of all time, it is Odyssey. Wow. So this goes back to a much more Mario 64, Mario Sunshine style of gameplay compared to Super Mario 3D World. You got large open worlds, tons of exploring to do, and different missions in each. Only the difference now is that there are tons of moons rather than stars or shines, and you can collect multiple in a single run. There is just that much to do, and some are very easy to get. You can just find them, you ground pound somewhere, you got to do, and then some are a bit more difficult where you have to beat a boss, or collect so many items, or find a location. And visually it's stunning. The addition of Cappy and taking control of enemies and using their powers, it was just so much fun. Every time you took over a new enemy, it's just like the gameplay would change. It's like, wow, this is amazing. All the different levels are fantastic, travelling from planet to planet or whatever. You don't have the sort of gravity as you do in Galaxy, although there is some of that in there. But the level designs are fantastic. I can't say that enough. I love the levels in this game. Then you got the 2D retro style bits that happen every now and then, where you go down a pipe, and those are wonderfully done. That you also unlock, Peach's Castle from Mario 64. You've got the open grounds that you can explore, way more than you could in the original. There's a lot more there. You can go inside the castle, talk to the princess, the toadstool. You can even go to one of the rooms and jump through one of the paintings. And when you unlock that, it's just so much fun. Like I said, Cappy is tremendous. Getting all the moons, you just want to keep on going and try and collect as many as possible. It's so satisfying to go into a level for the first time, and when you come out of it, half an hour later, you've got 30 moons. It's like before, you know, you'd have to get 1 star or 1 shine and come out and then go back in. But here you can just keep on playing until you've found as much as you possibly can. Maybe you've unlocked a new level, so you go and play that new level and do it all over again. And it's incredible. So those are my Mario game tier lists. As you can see, none of them are F ranking. The lowest is E with Super Mario Land, which, you know, is just kind of iffy. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in the S ranking. Another 5 in A ranking. You know, Mario games are just absolutely fantastic overall for the most part. And how many other game franchises are going to have that many S ranking titles? It's just not going to happen, I don't think, for any other series. So that's my list. Let me know in the comments below what you think of my list. Let me know what your list would look like. I'm bigcal, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.